Hey yo, who all we got? Checking in, checking in. Upcoming. Oh, it is live. Still waiting on Jared. We are not gonna see Flip because he is in England partying up. But here's my RFM intro. You heard that intro music? I wonder where they get that intro music.
It sounded to me like you were playing the first song I ever figured out when I learned power
Heard that?
chords.
I can't. You're real light on me, but that's
Oh.
that's RFM's intro. It does something. It's close to that. I don't know. I don't know where they get these like stock songs. I mean, it's obviously like some sort of. I guess it's supposed to sound like Back in Black or something.
It's they're pretty easy
Back
to
in
find.
Black. I hit the sack.
Morgan's shown me where to get them before.
Facial expressions. Maybe it's my earphones. No, you're sounding quiet to me for some reason. Gig Jared. Checker.
Wonder if Morgan.
You sound quiet to everybody else.
How's that?
Coming from inside the Mormon corridor. Okay. It's Radio Free Mormon.
Okay, how's it sounding?
Pretty quiet.
Damn, how annoying.
Is it my earphones? Do the fly. You there?
Hang on. All right, is that any better?
I don't know. I can't tell. Is it my ears?
No idea.
Guitar's out of
tune. Mormonism live.
I like the whoa, wailing solo.
Yeah, it to me it sounded like, so the first song I ever figured out on my own right after I learned power chords was Hit Me With Your Best Shot, and what's the other one that sounds exactly like that? Boston.
Everybody does the what is it?
Boston.
What?
No. I was thinking, shoot, More Than a Feeling, Boston. I
was talking to Guadamax. She didn't know who U2 was. And I was like, I'm so jealous of you. Like,
is that what you were playing right there? You were trying to play
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I guess it's that
the storm we made the show. I was gonna make a joke that you were playing that song, but I was gonna be joking because that's just the four chords.
Yeah, the four chords of I'll be your dream, I'll be your hope, I'll be your fantasy. I found.
You ever watched that Access of Awesome song?
Yeah,
the four chord. I love that one. I
saw a new one this week. Maybe I can pull it up. The new one is somebody said, "Hey, what's that song that goes? I know, I know, I know, I know, I know." And the guy went through like 50 songs of all these different things of people going, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I had never heard that one before. But,
there's like some lyrics that I think need to be illegal. You know, I'm pretty free speech most of the time, but things like I'm on my knees begging you, please, things like that, or hey, Mr. DJ.
Oh, wait. There's a Leonard Cohen song that I'm your man has a part where I'll beg what you do like a dog in heat and all. That's I don't know. You'd have to hear it, but do you know that song, the Leonard Cohen song?
I don't think I do.
I'm your man, but I think it's purposely supposed to be kind of cheeky.
Cheeky.
Well, he like the whole thing's like, if you want a lover, I'll wear a mask for you. You don't know?
I have no idea. I've never heard that.
I'm your man.
Be honest, I've never listened to a lot of Leonard Cohen.
Yeah, Leonard Cohen's awesome, but he's
I
one of
grew
those
up.
guys that the
I grew up
covers of his
listening to
songs are
you
almost
two, you dick.
yeah.
No,
The covers of his songs are almost always better than his versions until you learn to like it. Yeah.
oh
So do
man.
you have? We didn't get to the Bill Real stuff. You still sound pretty quiet to me. I don't know what's
So I'm
happening
trying
there.
to listen back. If
Maybe it's my ears.
I don't know,
I hear me.
I don't sound too terribly quiet
Maybe it's
in
me
the
then.
chat. I sound quieter than I usually do, and my face is right up next to the fucking mic. I don't know.
You don't look red to me.
Yeah, I've got the whole.
I don't know. When we listen to something on there, maybe I'll be able to tell.
Maybe I turn the gain up. Does that do anything?
Oh, that sounded better. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Well, all right. We didn't cover Bill Real last time.
I know there was just too much to talk about. Well, and then we got off on a music tangent, which was pretty fun.
It does sound better on YouTube than it sounded in my ears. So I don't know
Gotcha.
exactly what's a. Okay.
Ah, well.
Yeah. Something scrambly with me. Okay. But I can hear you. So I mean, I was
Nice.
I mean, I heard the whole time. I just was worried it was like a noticeably low level. So Flip is in England, and Kevin is in South Carolina visiting his old mission stomping ground, just for the visit of his old mission.
Yeah,
His areas are all gentrified now.
Flip is figuring out firsthand what it's like to be a minority, a racial minority.
A racial minority in London.
In London, he's a white dude in London. He's like, oh, this is what it's like to be a racial minority.
Yeah, but he spent the first little while in Liverpool, right around like walking distance from all four of the Beatles' childhood homes. And he said everybody was super nice to him there, and I guess the pub seemed all dazzling and fancy and all that sort of stuff for him.
You ever wonder how angry of a life the original drummer must have had?
What's his name? Stuart.
I think about that all the time. I have no idea. I don't know his name.
It's Stuart something.
I just remember. I'm pretty sure. Like, didn't he say, "I can't do this no more. I'm gonna go work in the warehouse."
Yeah.
And he like drove a forklift or something.
I actually was watching.
I would fucking off myself.
I saw this TikTok video that the original drummer of Nirvana before Dave Grohl, it was the same thing, and I saw this guy. He used to be like the writer of Cracked magazine, and he left them, but he's got a pretty good TikTok. He wrote the movie John Dies at the End. He has a pretty good TikTok, and he said the day he felt old was when he was reading through stuff, and he realized he was reading through Nirvana's kind of some leaked original messages between the whole bands, and the original drummer was fired from the band for nothing other than just scheduling issues.
Really?
There was nothing wrong with the drumming. There was nothing wrong with the problem. They got along. They liked each other, all that stuff. It was just, I can't make it those nights. And that's the whole reason he didn't, he got fired and Dave Grohl got in. And it was because before they hit. So if, some of those other guys are like, I quit, or they get boosted out. But this guy was just like, I can't make it work on Sunday nights. And
that happened to happened to Blink 182, like right as they started to blow up. Their drummer, well, it wasn't a scheduling issue. It said he was an alcoholic.
Well, yeah. So usually it's stuff like that, like it's some sort of dramatic thing. But this was just, no, I can't make it Sunday night, guys. That's too late for me, or something.
to go to work in the morning like a responsible adult.
It's what it was. It's 100% what it was. No other lore. But the guy said he felt old when he realized, listening to Kurt Cobain, that Kurt Cobain was just any typical managerial person in that moment. He was just being a manager, saying, if you can't make it, you're out. We got to do this and that, the other. And he said, if you know somebody's name in this world, you think anybody's like hardcore or whatever, if they've gotten far enough that you know their name, they've done some managerial boss level type firings and whatever's, you know. Actually, I listened to the whole entire extended story of Jane's addiction, and it was
Oh,
the same thing with Jane's addiction. Like Perry Farrell, everybody knows he's like this hippie, go lucky, whatever dude. But like the second they made money, he was like, "No, I get 62% of all the royalties, and you guys split the rest." And that's why they didn't last very long because he just immediately went for the jugular on all the stuff right the second it started making money.
what's your worst band breakup story? Like what's the worst band breakup that's ever happened? Not with you, but with famous people.
Well, there was maybe I don't give a crap about saying it. There was one where a guy was, and this is another thing. This is what one of the things that happened in Jane's addiction is it didn't happen, but one guy hit on the other guy's wife, and that's always like the start of the end. That's what broke up Uncle Tupelo, which formed Wilco. That you know, and it didn't even. It wasn't like an affair like stuff that happened all through Fleetwood Mac. It was like he hit on her one night when he was drunk, and then it just became too much of a thing.
Ah,
And
see, the
same
worst
thing
one
with.
ever is Lost Prophets.
Oh, you're talking about like actual bands out there? I thought you were talking about
Yeah.
your own band.
No. I'm talking about Lost Prophets. That's the worst band breakup ever.
Why? What happened? What? Oh, I think I know.
Yeah, that's the
That
Ian
isn't
Watkins guy. That's
isn't that the dude who went to prison
for
child stuff?
infant stuff.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I have heard that one.
that's like one of the nastiest stories I've ever heard in my life.
And
He's
they
a,
broke up for that.
I mean, he went to
You want to
prison.
hear something weird? This is true. I'm going to tell you another Forrest Gump thing. The band Escape the Fate used to hang out at my house in Las Vegas. And if you look them up, they're an emo band, and their original singer got arrested for murder.
Really? Oh,
Yeah. But it was largely the other members of the band. I never really met the original singer, but yep, that band used to hang out at my house in Vegas.
damn. Yeah, we do. Anytime you do one of these Forrest Gump things, you
It's
make me
always like
wonder. Well, no,
super.
you make me wonder if I'm wrong about Forrest Gump as a movie because I didn't like it at all.
I'm not saying that it was that great a movie. I'm just saying if you watch the whole movie, it's just this retard found himself around famous people.
No, I
For
know
whatever.
that annoyed me. Everybody told me for decades that you got to watch Forrest Gump. It's so awesome, and then I watched it and I was like, this is like a movie version of We Didn't Start the Fire. They're just like shit happened and then other shit happened. Remember this? It's Member Berries the song.
Yeah.
Ooh, remember 9/11? I remember.
That's kind of what it is. It's just like this slow person just found himself in the middle of anybody who was everybody
Yeah.
somehow for everything, and that's my joke. Is I'm the slow guy who's just around somebody who's mildly famous around the places I live somehow, and I don't even like know how they happen very much. You know,
But
so
that's one of the lines from movies that like really gets away from me. Like I don't know why that became something that was all that popular. And anytime somebody quotes Forrest Gump, it's just, oh yeah, I love that movie. Run, Forrest, run. I'm like, that's not a funny line. Why are we laughing? It wasn't even intended to be a funny line. It's like whenever anybody says, "Oh, you ever seen Old Greg?" Somebody in the crowd goes, "I'm Old Greg." Huh? That's not a funny
well,
line.
I like the stuff that was kind of like the Karate Kid reimagining. We had the whole Karate Kid series after people realized that the bad guy was Daniel LaRusso. I like the people who re-looked at Forrest Gump and said,
That Jenny's
"Jenny's the
evil.
worst. He's so evil."
That awesome meme is like, no, I'm not interested, Forrest, but I'll be back when you're a shrimp billionaire when I have AIDS.
Yeah, she's terrible. She's a terrible person. Troy said the same thing happened with Rush's drummer. Rutsey was too frail tutorially, so they auditioned a replacement. Neil Peart was their pick, and the rest is history. But
That's
that's
crazy.
one of those weird situations where Neil Peart is so stinking good. That what helped make him? Was it a bit of a like the movie That Thing You Do? Because
I don't think
I don't think Dave Grohl was necessarily a better drummer than the drummer they said got
probably
voted
not. I
out
don't
of Nirvana.
honestly. I don't think it's Rush might have not been quite as big without Neil Peart, but I think they still would have been huge. Geddy Lee is amazing. Alex Lifeson's a great guitar player, but like Geddy Lee, I think is the main talent behind the band. He's just,
Yeah,
I mean, you can watch him play the most complicated bass solo while banging out vocals and like playing a keyboard with his fucking foot.
And his bass was just always through the house. He never put any effects on it.
Really?
Yeah, he'd put like a fridge on stage, pretending it was his amp, and nope, he was going through the house the whole
God, no,
time.
he's so fucking good. I think they would have blown up either way, but it's just kind of a fluke, maybe, that Neil Peart, most well-known drummer of all time. It's kind of like what happened with Blink, because
But
they're
Neil's got also Travis. I mean, those
yeah,
two
no,
dudes have
I'm
the
saying so
chops to
with
back it
Blink
up.
182, it was their original drummer. I don't think he was a bad drummer, but it was just like punk beats, and that was it. And it looks really weird watching any performance where Travis plays those old songs because
But those replacements really have something special. So I mean, they
no,
might have.
they do for sure. I
'Cause I think Travis is all that's really special about Blink myself. But
I've come around over the years to Tom DeLonge, and it's because it was I was excited.
aliens,
Yeah,
aliens.
no, I was excited when they broke up because I I like Alkaline Trio, and Matt
Hmm.
Skiba was his replacement, and I was like, I want to hear somebody with an actual voice sing Tom's lines because I think he's really good at writing vocal hooks and earworm melodies and stuff like that. But then hearing it, and Matt Skiba is a great singer, hearing him do it, I was like, oh, no, Tom DeLonge figured something out. Like, he figured out how to use his shitty, whiny voice like really effectively. And
Yeah,
since he's come back, they've been they used to be like one of the worst live bands you could ever imagine. Because I loved them when
I'd
I
heard
was
that.
like, yeah, when I was like 14, Blink was my favorite band. And I was like, yeah, I want to see how they sound live. And it was fucking awful. Except Travis, obviously, he was great. But like, and part of it is Tom holds his guitar down at his knees. So he gives himself
Hmm.
fucking carpal tunnel anytime he's trying to do power chords. And they're always off. They're always out of tune. They can't sing for shit live. Even Mark Hoppus like fucks with his vocals in a weird way when they do it live. But this most recent tour, I was shocked. I watched some of the footage and they were tight. And Tom DeLonge, he was holding his guitar like a fucking adult, and he was actually hitting his.
Maybe Angels on Airwave time frame helped him out like a lot. But
Yeah, I think it must have. I don't know.
Troy says he disagrees. He says Neil Peart was necessary for Rush. He says look at they would have been another Led Zeppelin knockoff because
Yeah,
the first
I guess.
album lyrics are drunk and going bald because Neil Peart was the lyricist and he used a bunch of Ayn Rand stuff to write.
Did he? I didn't know that. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah,
He
Neil
was
Peart was a big time. What's her thing?
objectivist.
Objectivist
He was
and
an objectivist. I'd see
libertarian.
you meet so few people who are like actually objectivists
He
because
he was, but the problem is towards the end of his life he backed off it a bit.
because I like most people I know because I like Ayn Rand. I love Atlas Shrugged. I love Anthem and The Fountainhead. I like those books a lot. And then if I talk to anybody, they're like, "Oh, what do you think about her objectivism thing?" Oh, I think it's a terrible idea. Like, and most people are like, "Yeah, I like her books, and I like a lot of what she has to say." But God, that's her objective.
Well, we just watched
Kinda
that
nutty.
weird little documentary of the weird little cultish
Yeah,
group
no,
that
she got a
don't know
little
what
bit
to do.
crazy near the end. She had such a fucked up view of romance because it was
Yeah.
just like
Logical.
the
You gotta make it
it was just
logical.
purely logical, and because like in Atlas Shrugged, there's the two characters that are like coming together because they're great. They're the great people, and they fall in love and they're having this crazy wild affair, and then toward the end of the book, a better guy comes along, and like the main character just leaves him and is right for doing so, and even the guy that she left is like, I understand, he is the greater man. Like, you're a fucking robot, lady.
That's what I've heard about her books. I mean, I read Anthem, and Anthem seemed to me. Well, I know it came out before The Giver, so to me it seemed like a ripoff of The Giver, but The Giver
No.
must have been a ripoff of Anthem. But
Anthem was good. Just it's purely about individualism. It has really nothing at all to do with her objectivism stuff.
all right, listen to this question that I got from the Red Pillars.
Fight though. Depends
So that sounded quiet to me too. Do you hear it fine?
on does the way they were talking about drones and immigrants fighting because
You
the
hear that?
Yeah, I hear it just fine.
Okay.
American male is just not in fighting shape.
Can't throw a grenade.
Yeah,
again,
Actually, that's literally a thing.
yeah. Is Tanner good? How many Tanner? Let's be honest. I know Fitch could take on like at least 20 Tanners. Okay.
What is a tanner?
A Tanner is like a zillennial soy boy, lives at home. He eats his Doritos. It gets. I'm like a 6 Tanner guy. I think it could take out 6 Tanners.
Then I can achieve at least 8.
At least take on 12. Rolo maybe 10. Ryan, even though he's Canadian, he can at least take on 5. But I mean,
You just got to hit the head one, and then the other ones back off.
and they back right.
The problem is there's 100 of them.
Yeah, but
You got to take out the alpha Tanner.
You got to take off. So it's the new Reddit question: like, how many tanners can you?
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, I thought that was good timing with this thing. Although these guys don't ever put stupid transcripts with their stuff. I was gonna pull some, so I'll just generalize what some of it is. But man, they reviewed Mitt Romney's book. How do you think they reviewed it?
I don't know what his book was about, but I know they love Mitt Romney because he's
Yeah, they love
fucking
Mitt Romney now.
he's a fucking shill for BLM, and we just gotta be nice and stuff. Shut up,
I think
nerd.
they zinged and talked about Ayn Rand in here, and well, this is the first thing he said
The
here.
Rexburg College Republicans. I was a diehard Ron Paul guy. I actually met Mitt Romney wearing a homemade tie-dye Ron Paul Revolution shirt.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
What,
No,
and
I'm not shocked at
how
all.
are they like so like clueless about what the philosophy and world is? Like, you know, how Kara says that she used to be a diehard conservative, but you don't think you could, like, if you held her feet to the fire, that she could describe what the supposed beliefs were beyond her parents' meldrum beliefs.
No, yeah, I'm not shocked at all because he's just Kara. And by the way, I'm pretty sure Kara, if I had to put her to it, I'd say she could probably take like 6 Tanners or so. But he kind of just strikes me as whoever did. He kind of just got really absorbed in all the things that everybody around him were doing or something, and that's how he ended up where he is now.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious listening to those red pill guys talk about how many Tanners. Right?
I know.
Because I mean, this is obviously the Tanner, and how many could what? 17? Let's be generous. No, I'm just kidding. Jane Cobb's asking if I'm getting red pill. I mean, I don't know what I'd call them because there's the conservative red pill and then there's the whatever red pill. But I've been listening to Honey Badger Radio. I've followed Rolo for years, and the guys who are like particularly smart have a lot to say about stuff. Like and Aaron Clary, I've listened to him a bunch too, for sure. But I listen to everything. Like this week, I spent a particular amount of time listening to Hassan Piker and What's His Bucket, and them going through a true split. Like that stuff only got worse. Since they're broken up.
Well, Ethan's just stupid. I don't think he understood what he was getting into. Like I don't think he understood Hassan's audience. Like they're more radical than he is.
Yeah. And well, now he realizes it, and they've gone through like a full breakup. I mean, I could pull clips of that, but I was going to talk about some other stuff. But they,
well, you got Ethan, who's like, he's a Jew, he's an American Jew, and his wife is an Israeli Jew.
It's so funny because the whole thing starts with, "Well, you guys think just because this attack happened yesterday, we're going to split?" And then real quick, he figured out that Hassan's all their Palestinian stuff was real deal, and they really do think every single Jew is not a civilian. They're all, because they have that inscription into the army or whatever. None of them are civilians. But yeah, I've listened to a ton of Rolo Tomasi, and you're talking about Pearl. Pearl's been getting into it with some different people, like pulling up. She's pulled up Lauren and oh gosh, what's his name? Paul Elam. Paul Elam's been on. I listened to Paul Elam back in the day, but most of Paul Elam's stuff and all originates for me back with the Studio Brûlée guys. Which, if you want to listen to people break down the origins of wackadoo feminism, and she had Janice Fiamingo on. Pearl had Janice Fiamingo on to talk to her about. And Janice Fiamingo's just killer about that stuff.
Pearl's, she's such a fucking dope. I wish people would quit giving her attention because
Pearl.
Yeah, she's one of the ones that I so quickly was like, oh, I think you're lying about everything. I don't think you believe anything that you're saying. And
well, some people get mad because she'll put people on that have been at stuff forever, and then she'll kind of like take all their clout of stuff that they've been slowly chipping away at building for like a couple, 10 years, and then she'll have them on like one time, and now.
Well, she says things to try to appeal to all of the red pill guys or whatever, but then when she's actually in a debate with somebody or arguing with somebody, she folds because she's terrible. She's so used to arguing with just dumbass valley girls, and because they love doing that,
podcast.
The whatever podcast where they're like, they find some idiot on the street who's like, I think it's okay to cheat on your husband if he's kind of being a dick, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's funny to laugh at this absolute idiot, but man,
check this one out. I don't know. Oh gosh, I got too many things open.
How many Tanners do you think it would take to take down Sam?
15.
Really celibate. That loser sitting.
Can you explain what an incel is?
So an incel is just like someone who is involuntarily celibate. That loser sitting on Reddit for 23 hours with Cheeto dust and empty Mountain Dew cans all around them. And it just has a real stank smell that is involved with these people. Because I'm just going to paint you an image, and like the fedora is a little crusty, and the beard, the neck beard is strong, but the facial hair is weak. And there's a bald spot in the back, and you could just see the fedora just.
That's got to be fake, right? I don't think it's actually fake. I think there's definitely people out there that are that non-self-aware. But
the thing that's relevant to that right now is that these guys talking about politics is about the same thing to me. Does that make sense? Like the self-awareness.
Yeah.
About the exact same. We're watching the same essence going on right here.
No, I have to imagine that Tanner, kind of like Kara, like they got into conservatism because that's what everybody else was doing, and they didn't really ever understand the arguments to it. And then because that's how you collapse immediately. That's like Hunter Avalon, great example of that.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember back in the day when he was blowing up, I would watch those anti-SJW videos, and then I'd see his, and I was like, God, stop trying to be funny, dude. Just tell me what's going on in the world. You're not funny. But he never really understood the things that he was saying, and then Vosh of all people just completely crumbles him. Makes him, you know what? No, trans women are women. You're right, Vosh. That's what I feel like when I see Tanner or Kara. They're like, I was a huge Ron Paul guy.
Did you see Neil deGrasse Tyson on Bill Maher?
I didn't. I heard it was pretty good.
I pull that up. But yeah, these guys. Well, first off, I guess I got to go easy on Sam because really she's in a foreign country, and maybe she just doesn't know anything about anything of like the past 15 years, except that Obama must have certainly had all the best intentions ever, no matter what. Even if he did bad stuff like blow people up, it was probably the Republicans that made him do it.
As well as Taylor Swift.
But she didn't know anything about, like she hadn't heard of kind of the stuff that was crazy popular back at the time, like the binders full of women stuff about Romney. She hadn't heard she didn't know anything about his life, really. They fell in love with Romney. They're just in love with him. Why? Because they realize, and they even say it outright, and they can't pull it because they don't have the stupid transcript, but they realize, hey, it's like he's a neoliberal. They really said it just like that.
What do you like? Have you not listened to all of anybody write of Bernie Sanders bitching about him being a rhino, like that.
That's what they're saying. Like they kind of go, well, they're kind of right. He does seem like a Democrat in sheep's clothing, and and they don't understand because they say he complained about Obama and stuff. They don't understand that he's always played the role of the Washington Generals versus the Harlem Globetrotters. He was there to play the role of the Washington Generals. He was there to lose on purpose, and he reconciles in the whole book that, oh, it turns out Obama was great and all these other Republicans are bad, but I'm still a Republican. These guys said all that stuff here right out, and like, oh, I can't believe how terrible these Republicans are. But one of the things that made me think kind of trippy about this stuff this week is that, like, I watched this hour and a half of this trans, kind of typical libs of TikTok trans comedian. I forget what the name was. Review conservative comics, like an hour and a half of her reviewing conservative comic jokes. And that, just like I'm saying, the essence of what that extremely overweight whatever girl complaining about incels is, and these guys complaining about politics or whatever, watching this comic complain about those conservative comics was like, we're in such a world of like these filters of, because the problem is
how many times did she use the phrase punching down?
Yeah, of course. Think every single one of them. But here's the deal. The clips pulled were she or whatever it was, I don't even know, was right. The conservative comedy was shit. She pulled like shit, like very, very bad examples of comedy. It was terrible.
Like ones where they said, listen here, snowflake.
Yeah, it was boomer con crap comedy, 100%. But then it was getting reviewed by somebody who claimed to be a comedian, and all they were like talking about was how offensive it was, and not really breaking down how it was just shit comedy, And I feel like everything we're watching is that. It's like we watch shit reviewed by shit. Like there's just so many like levels and layers of filters of crap that we're getting everything from, Oh, I thought I had but yeah, I mean, they wash Mitt Romney's balls here, like they're just in love with him now. And don't believe me, listen to the whole hour and a half of it. And
okay.
I've always wanted to say, and it's what I've been trying to say to like the progressives, whatever, is like progressive ex-Mormons, is like, you guys feel like you solved leaving Mormonism because you figured out that all those seemingly nice guys up at the top weren't so nice. But you can't apply that to politics. Like, how do you not figure that out?
Yeah,
how do you guys not figure out that you could probably trust a shitty Trump better than you can trust a smile in Washington? Like, how do you not figure that out? How do you not figure out that Mitt is playing to your Democrat whatever? He's doing the rhino stuff because it's Machiavellianism. He's faking being a thing for his own benefits. How do you not get that? Like, how do you guys act like you're such super rational figure outers of the world and you haven't sniffed that out and you just still fall for this stuff in 10 seconds? She said Trump won because of gerrymandering. That can't happen. Like, that's like well, he already won popular vote. That's not gerrymandering. That's the college. Each state has different amounts, and no amount of gerrymandering changes that.
He was carpet bagging.
Yeah, well, they did mention carpet bagging. We noticed that he never lived in Utah, so I guess he is a carpet bagger. Oh, and then he says all of his friends in Washington were Democrats, so that is kind of strange. Oh, and he said he was going to try to form a new neoliberal party with Manchin. So that was kind of weird. So, I mean, but he's still conservative, and I don't know why. I just hated him in general, like conservative, but he has such integrity. Here. You guys don't figure out he's just announcing that book that he's a Democrat and has been all along.
Yeah. I remember, I don't know as much about Mitt Romney as everybody because I was on my mission during that election. I got back like right as like November of 2012 is when I got back. So I didn't really get into it, but I do remember in high school when he was running, I really wasn't paying a whole lot of attention, but he got a little bit of steam and they were talking about him. Some atheist kid at school was like, we can't vote him because he's Mormon. I was like, why? And he's like, he'll make coffee illegal. It's like, I don't think that he will. And that's not constitutional anyway. And that's not how passing laws works. But, well, I was wrong about that. That is how passing laws works now. You can just executive order any fucking thing you want. But, and I even told him, I was like, wait a minute. He was a governor of Massachusetts, right? And wasn't that like the first state to legalize gay marriage?
Yeah, and he was for legalizing gay marriage, and it was also the place that set forward the idea of the Affordable Care Act, which became Obamacare. They did it first there, and then those were two people running against each other. And
I don't think he's gonna take away your coffee, man.
Obamacare, that program is a sheer nightmare. It sucks. It sucks for everyone. It's just this piece of crap thing dragging on everybody. I'm renewing insurance at my work right now, and the Affordable Care Act ruins everything. But it's because the Republicans ruined it, not because.
Oh yeah. No, did you? I did see the Bill Maher trigonometry thing. And
you want to see that?
No, I watched it. It was
trigonometry. I thought you were saying the.
Oh no, yeah. I watched it and it was pretty good for the most part. And then he starts talking about the whole election denial thing and how that should just totally disqualify Trump. And they rightfully brought up, well, okay, but Hillary Clinton. I mean, like, she's still doing it. She's still calling him, and like Bill Maher went full Russiagate. He's like, there absolutely was Russian collusion.
Did you watch? It's a great debate. Destiny and Actual Justice Warrior had the debate. I shared it.
I started it. I haven't finished it.
It's a really good debate because both of them really know like a lot about all these little nitty gritty policy things that were like, well, he did this. Well, he did this. And well, actually it was because of this. Like, there's all these things that I realized, like, man, I don't have like didn't study all these like little nitty gritty. So if somebody says a lie about something, I can say in real time, like, no, that's not what happened. It happened because of this.
I can do all the normie ones, like the good people on both sides bullshit.
I can't believe Destiny pulls up the concept of the guy's been arrested. The guy has all these lawsuits against him. Like you can't. How in any sort of aware company in this world can you not like hide that as something that's just obvious lawfare by the Democrats? It's lawfare. It's across the board lawfare because it's just two-tiered systems all the way across the board, and not that like Trump's great or whatever sorts of stuff. It's just that I'm even tired of saying that, but it's just so obviously something that they would never go after their own people for.
I know that's what happened when the trigonometry guys brought up, okay, but like Hillary keeps denying the election. Maher was like, are you guys Trumpers? Yeah. And they're like, no.
Yes. Always
like, we're just saying you guys are doing the thing that you're saying we're doing.
We can play two games. We can play, yes, we freak out at that, or we can play now we let it go. We can't play one thing for one and the other thing for the other. And then that's these guys were freaking out like Trump says he wants to do stuff to quell free speech in the press. Like, how do you guys not pay attention to what's going on out there? They just released another huge thing about all this collusion to suppress speech in Twitter and Facebook. Jim Jordan released it this week, and that's just another one after a long line of Schellenberger and Matt Taibbi exposing on Twitter and Elon just talking. But they're just completely unaware of it and said Trump wanted to do something to his to the press. But Obama, everything he ever did must have just been actually good. But you don't want to look at the most any journalist ever got prosecuted in the country was under Obama.
Yeah, well, I mean, they act like Trump is uniquely evil with his like, he would overturn the election if he could. I'm like, yeah, he would. And he's not like as clever about his shitty behavior as the other people are. But do you not think that like anyone in America, if they're like, you press this button and it's a shitty thing to do, but it'll steal the election and you'll be the president, like anyone would do that?
Yeah. But
Hillary
that's
Clinton
always been my
obviously.
thing with Trump is I don't think he's great. It's just where have you guys been living in forever that you don't think all politicians do the general things that he does? And I'm all for us suddenly becoming. It's what Mormons do. It's like the Jim Bennett stuff. The guy's a piece of shit all over internet, which is fine. We're pieces of shit. But the next day he's like, I've never been a piece of shit even once, and I'm here to show you the proper ways to do it, and I ban you for your shittiness. Like that's that sort of thing. And I saw it's one of the things that irritated me most about like on a mission. You'd call like these other missionaries Pharisees, and you'd come across these guys who, I lived with one of them. He was one of my companions. The guy would sleep in till 10, and then after he slept until 10 and I was up at 7, he'd get up and bark at me that my tie wasn't on fast enough. That's the sort of stuff that drives me insane. It's the thing that I hate most in this world is just that level of hypocrisy. And the Democrat Party is just straight hypocrisy. That if they all wanted to just clean it up right now, fine, let's really clean it up. But enough with the two-tiered hypocrisy. That's what just go.
Actually, the mission's actually the perfect the perfect parallel to draw here. That's the perfect place you can see it in the world. This whole difference between those who play the political game and those who don't, because that's all missionaries do is play the political game, like not with their investigators, but like with people, with other missionaries. I hate the structure of the mission. I hate the exact obedience nonsense. It all feels so fake. Everybody on a mission feels fake because they're falling all over each other, trying to act more pious, right? Mm-hmm. It's not a rule that you can't tell people what your first name is, right? And all of my companions, anytime it's that extra rule that they give to themselves to make themselves look more worthy or whatever. Like I'm even more missionary. I'm 110% missionary or whatever. So, and I never played the game because it annoyed me. I had my companions. There was 2 of us. There was 3 of us at the time, and they're like, "What's your name?" And he'd be like, Elder Wilkie. Like, no, I mean your first name. He'd say Elder. And he'd say, no, but like your actual name. What's your actual name? And he's like, I go by Elder Wilkie for these 2 years. And they go to me like, what's your name? It's like, Jared. He looks at me like he's mad. And I'm like, where in the rule? What are you doing? What are you gaining from this? How are you better for not telling them your name? It doesn't help anything with your mission, right? And they would always do these things where you're supposed to play along with this stupid bullshit. They did it. One of my zone leaders did that thing where he told me, the Lord has told us that we're supposed to challenge our missionaries to to invite to baptism on the first visit every time. And I was just like, I know I'm supposed to play the game, the political game. The political thing to do as a missionary is be like, oh, yes. Like, even though in your head, you're like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. That's stupid bullshit. You're supposed to sort of pay lip service to it and maybe even try to one up him Game of Cards style or House of Cards style down the line. But he said it, and I was just like, I'm not going to do that. He's like, but we received revelation. And I was like, no, I don't think you did. Because you're not supposed to challenge that. You're not supposed to be like, no, you didn't receive. You're not supposed to call somebody a liar to their face. But eventually, you got to do it. You're just gonna be like, no, shut up. You're actually lying. And people listen to your Bidens and your Clintons and stuff like that. But they listen to Hillary Clinton saying things like, well, I would never, blah. And they're like, oh, yes, she said the right thing. And I don't know. Yeah. Rant over. Sorry.
No, that's really what it is. And I see Searstoner saying that like we're talking about the left in general, or we sound like we're being too vague about it. I'm just talking about anybody who just excuses it for one side and not for the other. Or you can, like, I don't want to prosecute Hillary Clinton for denying the election. I think she can say stupid shit like that. But so can Trump. Like, it's that simple to just stay consistent, but if we did want to suddenly get insane about that, fine. I'd love to get rid of both Hillary Clinton and Trump, so let's come down on it. Everybody who saved documents or whatever, I'm fine. Get rid of Pence, get rid of Biden, get rid of Trump. Everybody who took classified documents. All I want is the consistency.
I know but anytime you call for consistency, you're accused of whataboutism.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'm in a car and the speed limit is like 50 miles an hour and I blow by at 60. Meanwhile, a guy blows by me at 90 and the cop pulls me over. And I'm like, okay, but what about him? He was going 90. He's like, oh, what aboutism? I'm like, okay, yeah, but maybe I feel like you're unfairly targeting me because you don't like me because you pulled me over before for lesser infractions. And that guy never seems to get pulled over.
Has anybody looked at how ridiculous this trial is in New York? That they're saying that
See,
he
here's the thing, I
claimed
haven't.
that he got a loan too big because he overvalued the price of his house in
Oh,
Mar-a-Lago,
yeah.
which wasn't true because it should be the price that he said. If you
Well, they
look at
compared it
to
to,
neighboring lots,
yeah,
but
they're like, look,
secondly,
he
he paid the whole thing back before they even ever got to this stuff. But thirdly, why is New York prosecuting this? It has like nothing. But that's what always happens. If you see stuff come out of the Southern District of New York City, you know you've got lawfare going on. It's the same stuff that it's just. And then these guys all say, they'll say a generality. If you listen to this whole podcast, they'll say, "What's wrong with them? Don't they know that Trump's got like lawsuits and he's guilty?" And they'll just give that generality of the thing and not even like look at it for half a second.
No, I know.
But in the meantime, there's all this stuff going on with Biden of him being dodgy as crap with his money. And
well, they're going full Boy Who Cried Wolf on Trump.
Yeah.
Because he at this point you asked, have I been paying attention to this prosecution? I actually had heard that story. That's a funny one about how they tell you that he overvalued his property by comparing the properties surrounding him that are like a quarter the size.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. But no, I haven't been paying attention to a lot of his prosecutions because I'm tired, and enough of them have been just absolute bullshit nonsense that I'm just assuming going forward that's all they're going to have. Because maybe at some point they're going to find out like that, I don't know, he killed a baby and drank its blood or something. And by the time they find that thing, they're going to be like, look, we're prosecuting him. I'm like, oh, again, okay, buddy.
Well,
sorry, I'm not paying attention.
Because Bill Maher will still hold on to like the Russia collusion stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I remember getting real detailed on reading all that way back in the day. And now I can hardly remember, but he'll still pull up Manafort and so will Destiny and all that stuff. And these people who supposedly had ties to Russia and all that sorts of deal. And it's so obviously like ridiculous, like that General Flynn, who was part of Trump's administration, called and spoke to Russia after they were already president-elect. And that's breaking of what's that law called, where they some random person can't deal with foreign countries. But in the meantime, Gavin Newsom's over there running over Chinese kids. Like, come on. Just like nobody gets prosecuted under that thing and never had been before. That's lawfare. They pick random things. That's Soviet Union stuff. Find me the person and I'll show you the crime. And one of the things that's been amazing for me is because if they'd never done any of this, I might have believed all of it about Trump. But the simple fact that they did bother go and try to do all these prosecutions, I'm like, I can't believe you guys didn't find anything better. Like, how did you guys not find something better on Trump? I bet you I could have found something better.
I know. Well, that's Hawkish Owl pointed out. The fact that the loan is paid off makes this case so far beyond malicious prosecution. I'm like, yeah, that's hilarious. That's the funniest thing ever. When they're like, hey, this loan that you paid in full, you shouldn't have been able to get a loan that big. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Because he was able to pay it, right? So,
yeah. But once again, if we're going to be that nuts about how pure our politicians are, I'm all for it. If it's pure across the board, that we're going to be that nuts about all of them. But here's Bill Maher, he drives you nuts, and then other times you just love him. So I have not seen anybody go after Neil deGrasse Tyson like this.
Oh, okay. I'm excited.
You got a thing with Martina Navratilova?
You're all right?
What do you mean I have nothing? What do you mean?
Maybe I should play at normal speed.
Beef. Yeah, well, she has beef with you.
Why does she have a beef with me?
Because you think like guys with dicks should get in the women's swimming pool, basically.
Oh no. Well, whatever got clipped and reposted, I don't know. But what I said was,
did you see that clip I sent you of the field hockey girl losing all her teeth from the boy player?
I didn't. I saw.
I shared it.
You
It's a
sent a
terrible
screenshot.
clip.
I
I
didn't know
probably
you
can't show
sent
it
the
tonight.
clip.
It's so bad. The girl's just like screaming on the ground after losing all her teeth.
How does this even? This is the whole thing. The playing by the rules thing. There's. Have you ever seen Phineas and Ferb?
No,
Probably not.
I mean, I know it. But
I've showed it to my kids, right? And there's Doofenshmirtz is a great character. He's funnier for the adults than for the kids because he's always trapping Perry the Platypus. And my favorite one ever was he sits him down. They're on this train, and he sits Perry the Platypus down to eat, and he's like, "Ha! You're trapped by social convention." And I feel like that's all of us. And so now he's actually trapped in the spot, but not physically trapped. He's just like stuck there because it'd be really rude to get up and say anything. And I feel like that's what this whole transgender thing is, especially the sports aspect of it. Like, we are so unwilling to rock the boat and be mean that we'll just watch women get their fucking teeth smashed in.
you can hear it hit her head, and then she's screaming on the ground for like 20 seconds. Well, until
God.
the video cuts off.
Yeah. And I mean, there's that. There's Fallon Fox pounding the shit out of a woman, fracturing her skull. There's the Hannah Mouncey towering over all those women. There's no shortage of these insane instances where, and Mara actually on the Trigonometry podcast, he worded it really well. He just said, "Shut the fuck up! Stop making me pretend." And I feel like I've been shouting that to the void forever.
Well, he gets to say it right to Neil here.
In this emergent space where you have people expressing themselves on a gender spectrum, and you want to now compete in sports, that's still a frontier to be solved. And I don't have the answer, but I can suggest one, whether or not it'll work. Maybe we don't compete by gender anymore. We compete on hormone ratios. Okay? There was a woman who had uncommonly high testosterone levels, and they wanted to disqualify her because of how manly she was.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Have you heard her speak?
Yeah.
I would have thought she was a guy.
Mm-hmm. She had
No, she has an XY chromosome, I'm pretty sure. I think that got leaked. Mm-hmm. Like, because that commission actually took her, took some biology, whatever, and then they refused to release the results of it. But I got a solution. I know what the solution is, Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. The solution is don't let them play. I get so goddamn tired of how often we can't just say I don't really care, because
but that's not a solution either. Like we brought up before, Heather Hang has like a longer list than this that are all scientifically backed up. But it's not just testosterone. It's not just XX or XY. It's from birth.
No, I'm saying the solution is it's obvious. This is all obvious. I don't need the list. I understand the value of the list. But I know it, and so does everybody else. Everybody's lying. Everybody's pretending to be nice, right? And so when you try to tell me like that, oh, but what if their hormone levels are closer? Oh, but I don't care. I don't have to explain it to you, because the best phrase in the world is, oh, I don't really care. Because if my daughter is playing on a field hockey team, and some obvious dude walks up and I tell him, no, you can't play. And the coach tells me, we'll explain why we care. Where's she supposed to play? The answer is, I don't care. Not here.
Yeah, this letter was actually from the captain of that team. And she put those details in it, even though, like you said, you don't even need those details. But I can't believe people just think hormones are the things. And that even came up when that trans person was reviewing the comics. Said, they have to have their hormones down for a little while. Like, come on, that doesn't take care of this stuff. But this is it. She says, my name's Kelsey Bain. I am one of the captains of the Dayton Rothball High School field hockey team. On November 2nd, our team played Swampscott High School in the first round of MIAA Division III playoffs. During the third quarter of the game, one of our players was struck in the face by a shot by a corner penalty, which came off the stick of a male athlete on the opposing team. The shrieks and screams of fear and pain projected from her after being on the field and stadium. The looks of horror and shock on the face of the girls surrounding her were also chilling. Following the injury, my teammates were sobbing in fear of their teammate. Well, okay, you can watch all that stuff if you want to watch it, but She goes into detail. From birth, males have larger lungs than females. Adult males have larger hearts than females. They pump blood quicker. Adult males on average have 12% higher level circulating hemoglobin. On average, males have 4.5 inch longer. Females have longer, denser skeletal structure. I mean, but the list just goes on forever and ever. It's like, and that Neil deGrasse Tyson is pretending to not know that and think he can just level out hormones. This guy knows that if,
No, I know. They're
if they
pretending to
level
know.
his hormones out tomorrow, he can't
Yeah.
compete.
No, it's all
Oprah's not the best one.
pretending. It's all pretending to not know things because
Being a hatchling, a new hatchling.
yeah, they'll be like, oh, should we just do blood work on every person that played? No, I'm gonna look at that person. I'm gonna say that's a man. you can't play with the women because that's all it takes. 99% of the time. Crazy, and then there's crazy exceptions like Castor Simone, who it just looks and sounds like a guy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I want to see this.
Was when she was born a woman and competing as a woman. So if that's how we're going to do it,
You know, this again. This
because
is
what you
just-
really want, wait, Bill, no, I've thought this through more than you might think I have. So what you
But-
really want is an interesting contest between people who are similarly talented. The least interesting Super Bowl
this-
you could ever watch is a blowout by halftime.
See, what we agree on is that there are anomalies in human nature, whereas
Yes.
you know, the vast majority of people, I'm sorry, are still male or female. And certainly every cell in our body is dictating one of those other the sexes. I mean, obviously,
Well, the hormones are. Yeah.
obviously that's, well, also I make sperm and other people make eggs.
That's what hormones do. Yeah.
You can't deny that. Okay. So but we, as liberals, we, I think, agree that, you know, there are anomalies in nature and they should be respected and protected. But this attempt to reorganize all of society around what a very tiny percentage, who again we can protect and respect without pretending that every baby is a jump ball like penis. What the fuck? I don't know. That doesn't mean anything. We have no idea what this child is. I mean, that seems to be where you want to go. I mean, like, how many people fit this description that we should reorganize sports around? Sports is, we have men's sports and women's sports. And if the best team in the WNBA played the worst team in the NBA, the score would be 1,000,000-0. Can we organize society around that basic point with this, of course, proviso that we protect and respect people who do not fit into it?
Let's segregate society because
That's not
dark-skinned people and light-skinned
segregating.
people.
It's
because
not-
that nature made it that way, and that's how it is. So,
Well, nature did make it that way.
You are,
And it's not segregating.
well, there
It's
was
not
a time
segregating anything.
that attitude
It's-
150 years ago
Oh, it's
was
not- 2 years ago. You act like this was yes, right. Lincoln. This was a big issue in the Lincoln Douglas debates. Trans people. That's
No, no,
right.
I'm talking about
I
black,
remember
white.
that.
I'm talking about what
1861. Yes, I remember those debates.
It was 1860,
and
I think,
Lincoln
but yeah.
was all about getting trans. Oh, for fuck's sake. You're ridiculous.
No. So here it is. Just all I'm saying is that. How about this? I'm looking at schools in Manhattan, and there's a school there, and there's a old from like built in the 20s and 30s, and there's a doorway that says boys, and a separate doorway on the other side of school that says girls. And I'm
Oh,
thinking,
God.
why are we doing this?
Because people are mostly boys and girls?
But why split them entering a school building?
Because they pee differently? Jesus Christ, that I have to explain this?
No, because you know what I thought when I saw that? It's colored fountain over here.
Oh my
white fountain
god!
over here. That's what I thought.
Oh my god!
Pretty
Do
impressive
you think
that.
that, do you think that, okay, it's like the stupid. It's people that think that segregation just means bad, because I would disagree with Mar there. It is segregation. We're segregating sports. That's between male and female. That's a great way to do it. Okay. It's like the people who think that discrimination is all bad, right? Because I discriminate babysitters on gender all the time. So and age. Like if I know nothing about this 15-year-old neighborhood girl, but I see that she's dressed nicely and I got a gun to my head, and it's either I choose her or this 50-year-old dude wearing a dress with a septum piercing, I'm going to discriminate. I'm absolutely going to discriminate against the dude, clearly, because men commit more crime. They're more violent. This is, I'm going nuts. Sorry.
Watch this. The Antifa guys go after the Palestinian women to tell them how bad Billboard Chris is because he's not into transgenders. I think it goes for him.
This guy is trying to propagate anti-LGBTQ propaganda. He's trying to tell children that they are not allowed to be trans.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're not. They're not. Suck your mum, bro. No. Black nail polish on is a man, bro. Stop talking. Stop talking. Some religions, you can't do that. Yeah, you have to respect that decision. But in religion, yeah. But in some religions they accept that. But in our religion, you can't do that. So we don't agree with your faith. Thank you. What religion are you? What religion are you? Catholic. What are you then? What do you identify yourself as, something, my bro? What do you identify as? What do you identify as? What do you identify yourself as? Okay. Yeah, you don't have to. Listen. Wait, what do you identify yourself as?
He doesn't know what the fuck to do.
That's how you get Antifa to saunter off. Just get the Palestinian women to come say transphobia at them.
I don't understand. You're brown. I'm your savior.
Oh, goodness gracious. Hawkashal said Mar has a great scam when he can be a normal, rational person, but then pick one thing that you have to remain a loyal lefty. Well, that's going throughout the world a little bit. The left liberal political wing is a coalition. It's a circular firing squad, so you need to be specific when you say they say this or they say that. Otherwise, y'all sound like Zelf calling Romney a conservative. Well, there's an easy Mormon answer for all this. We live in hell, guys. This is hell. Yep. Satan is running the world, and everybody is little minions. Yeah, I'm sold. Yeah. Wrong. This is actually spirit prison. Oh yeah. Oh, I forget. Man, I'm so far out of it. I forget it's spirit prison. We have the choice to become one of his little minions or not. I wish. Spirit prison, aka the Latter-day Longhouse. Have you guys ever seen the old movie Liberty Balance? Yeah, we've talked about the man who shot Liberty Balance here a few times. Actually, I think it's called The Man Who Shot. Oh yeah, there you go. Missions are amazing for the stories and experiences they generate. I especially love hearing spiritual mission stories from former members because of how they have reinterpreted them. I haven't talked about it yet, but I had a ghost story on my mission, and I don't believe in ghosts. And but whatever happened, me and another missionary both witnessed it. Not really a ghost story; it was a seance story, and it was on Halloween night. I mean, ask me if you want me to get into it later, but it 100% happened, and it happened to me, a skeptic, a person who doesn't think that stuff happens, and it happened.
See,
the fact that the loan is paid off makes it so the case beyond malicious prosecution for sure. It's all fucking bullshit. Everybody's fucking lying. Why you fucking lying? The Road is your favorite McCarthy. Have you read how much McCarthy have you gotten to Blood Meridian?
Honestly, I've just read Blood Meridian and The Road.
Oh, and you like The Road better?
I love both of them, but The Road, it's a father-son story, so I'm a sucker for that.
What dictates hormone? That poor God, we've lost our minds as a society. All judgment is bad. You want to see some stuff? You want to see that the woke coalition is ending? You want to see how it's ended? We have some proof it's ending.
Show me.
Here it is. New U.S. Army recruitment ad just dropped, and it's straight white men.
All right, guys. World War III is about to happen.
We are definitely going to war. Time to end all that diversity-ish stuff. This did kind of trip me out. Like, what? Yeah, it is the first time in a long time I've seen.
No, it's insane that that's so shocking. She's like, wait a minute. There's no Disney animation here. There's no brown gay women proud of their non-binary child,
or even that they're doing like exciting stuff or whatever, you know. But yeah, we're going to war. That's all signs point to war. You want to see Jim Bennett, something Jim Bennett's talking about.
Oh, I would love to see some Jim Bennett. It's been a while.
If we all keep feeding our minds with this trans content, we're gonna have a hard time letting these people exist. I have a coincidence, mission, miracle story. Really? I do have another like a coincidence, mission, miracle thing too, but nothing really happened.
I don't have any mission. I never had an experience that I can't explain. I feel like I was like my brain is wired like a skeptic, because I was even like that as a Mormon. I don't believe your ghost stories. I don't believe your I don't know.
Well,
whatever.
did I tell it before? I might have told it before, but
I don't know that you have. You've mentioned it before, but I don't.
So okay, it was Halloween. It was Halloween night, a year into my mission, because I got to my mission on, what did I say? It was Day of the Dead. So it was like 1 year in, and me and this missionary go to this house of these people, and they liked us. They're like big fans of us. That's why they wanted us to eat there on Halloween night. Well, they'd been like these kind of like weird general Christians that we didn't necessarily understand what they were all along. And then because in Mexico, you usually knew like who was Catholic and who wasn't and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, we get there and they tell us they have like the table all set up. It's like set up like a seance. And they want to do a seance for us for real. And me being the person who I always was, the kind of general skeptic, and I never really was that much of a believer, I kind of admit that, I was like, all right, sounds fine to me, and I didn't care if they did it. Whereas my companion who was with me was like, no, we shouldn't do this, what I mean? I'm like, that's fine, whatever.
Was he native?
What?
Was he native or was he American?
No, he's American. Actually, I had him back this up because I told it somewhere else, and I said he'll back it up. Like he'll back it up. I still talk to him, and he 100% said this is exactly what happened. And they started doing the seance, and the seance they start like reading us. I'm going to read you, and I'm going to read him, and they read me, and they say you're going to leave us very soon. And we snickered at that because in my mission we had very specific set transfer dates. They were once every 2 months, and they were on very, very specific dates, and like I wasn't gonna be leaving anytime soon. We just barely gotten together, right? And then they tried to read him, and they said we can't get anything off him. We can't get anything off him. Really, what happened? That's what they said. And then and then in the middle of that, all the lights go out. All the lights go out in the whole block, and then we end up walking home in the dark, like of Mexico City, just completely black, and you almost never see Mexico City like that black with all the lights going off, right? So then we get home, and the next morning I get called on an emergency transfer because 2 other missionaries had gotten in a fist fight, and we were like, "What the way?" So that's all 100% true. I can have the guy back up that I didn't say a thing that's a lie right there. The lights went out. They said, and then he said they couldn't read me because I was saying a priesthood blessing, saying that they couldn't read me to myself. And
I don't know. I feel like if that happened to me, I'd just be like, oh, that's a coincidence.
I am like there's no part of it. I go, damn.
I mean, I've had things like that happen. I mean, like when I'm talking about things that I can't explain, I'm talking about like missionaries telling me about, I don't know, curses and
this is kind of this is
like
seance, man. I mean, and they got it right, and then they couldn't read him.
I guess, but what I'm saying is like a missionary, like an emergency transfer is like a thing that happens.
Yeah, it was all explainable for sure. Yeah. And I didn't suddenly believe in their religion all of a sudden, but Christopher sent me something here. Share screen. What's it say? Exchange each hostage for 100 pro-Hamas U.S. students.
Let's do it.
Good for Israel, good for USA, good for Hamas. Educational.
Yeah, everybody wins.
Educational for students. Yeah.
That video actually blew my mind because I don't know. Whenever I saw those like queers for Hamas things, queers for Palestine, I always thought they must know that that's retarded, but they're doing it, because it's what their side says to do. They must have some type of an explanation for this. But man, that Antifa guy, he really he really thought he was saving that little brown girl. Like, he's a Muslim. How stupid are you to walk up to a Muslim girl who's like pro-Pakistan and just be like, well, this guy doesn't want men in women's locker rooms, and for her to be like, oh my goodness, he's a bigot.
Did I see Patton Oswalt was trending? What was he trending?
I did see that. I didn't. So are whites though.
All right, what's Jim Bennett mean by this? I haven't met anyone who has left the church. Can you do a Jim Bennett?
I haven't met anyone who left the church because they wanted to sin. I could probably do it if I worked on it enough, but
it's a little slower, right? Exact intensity was just like, I haven't met anyone, he overpronunciates, who has left the church because they want to sin. I have, however, met many people who have left the church because they were tired of constantly being told they weren't righteous enough. Those are not the same thing at all.
Have you, though?
No.
Did you? Oh, man. Okay, I'm gonna have to ask people. Okay, do you feel like you left the church because you were told that you weren't righteous enough? And
no, like that's the same thing. Like everybody who gets mad about saying we left because we wanted to sin, I don't see how that's. Maybe he's talking about how we're talking about Pharisees like him who are liars and then suddenly wants you to do something that they aren't doing. Maybe there's that, but that's not because I'm not doing something right or something like that, or I'm being, it's because of hypocrisy or something.
So I guess, like, I understand how, like, why it's insulting and stupid for Mormons to say you just left because you wanted to sin. It's stupid because that's kind of just them not wanting to confront the real issues, right? Because if I tell you, oh, I think all of these anachronisms in the Book of Mormon make it unable to have actually happened, you can either confront that or you can pretend that I'm being dishonest. You can say like, oh, actually, he just wanted to drink alcohol. And that's a lot easier to confront because not only is it a dumb reason to leave, it's also, it also just further proves the veracity of your church. So I get it that's an annoying thing to say, but I've definitely met people who left because they wanted to sin. And I think to leave, you have to be convinced it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the only reason people leave. You either never really believed in it or you were convinced it wasn't true. Not like you were told you're not righteous enough. Also, if you're a woman, you were never told that you're not righteous enough. I don't know how else to tell you that. In the Mormon church,
I gotta pull up what that therapist you linked was saying. Because that's actually what I'm referring to in the meme at the start. But if people were interested, Jared went on that Catholic podcast that Christopher has been suggesting that you go on. It's a good hour. Yeah,
it was a good time. He was interested. What was funny is he mentioned OnlyFans and we were talking about he said, I think maybe women just do that as like a way to make a lot of money. And me and one guy in the chat, we were telling him, no, man, they don't make any money. And he was like blown away.
Yeah.
He's like, what? They don't make any money and they still do this? I'm like, yeah, man.
Some of them are doing that for 50 cents.
I know.
You see, I'm gonna.
Oh, this was hilarious.
This guy can't get the AI to recognize him as a woman. Where's the one of that therapist saying that she speaks for God?
I can search the chat and find it for you.
Was it on Twitter?
It was on Twitter. No, I don't think so.
Oh, we got the manifesto this week, thanks to Crowder. Speaking of which, Crowder is one of the ones that they were looking at his bad comedy. They were looking at his old comedy from like 10 years ago, and
it's bad. I've never. I don't. I've
kind of obviously trying to copy Dane Cook a little bit at the time frame.
Oh Lord, why would you do that?
But that's, I mean, once again with the filters of all this stuff, like when I'm watching Zelf on the Shelf criticize Mitt Romney, who's criticizing some of the stuff that M. Russell Bauer and Mike Lee and all these types of guys are doing, and the thing down at the bottom of the chain is what some of these BoomerCon Republicans are doing. You look at the original thing being observed, I'm like, yes, that is crap. Yes, that is crap. The original thing, like reviewing Crowder's comedy, is crap. But where's the people? Like, why don't we have good reviewers in between why it's crap? Oh, I just watched the field hockey injury again.
Oh Lord! I resent that video you were looking for.
Okay. It says unsupported attachment.
Does it?
Why did I say that? I already saw it earlier from you. Is it from a link? It's from a link, isn't it?
Yeah. Hang on. I think it's on her Facebook. I don't know why it's being a pain.
Is that what it is?
I'm pretty sure.
Blocked now.
Does he comment on it or something?
No.
Okay, I'll try a different way. All right, I sent it to
I found the original one that you did, but why can't I click on it?
How odd.
Maybe they took it down or something.
Oh, I'm watching it right now on my phone.
You can load it up on the phone.
Oh. I don't know. Hang on. Let me.
I found the original one you sent, but I can't click on it.
Let's see.
Anyway, in the meantime, we can learn about
brew a cup of coffee or buy one for $1. Yep. Women have a constant craving that can only be satisfied by a caffeinated beverage that costs $8, $9, or even $10+.
You know, some will call it stupid tax, but what's actually stupid is that men won't acknowledge we have the luxury to not have an internal voice forcing you to drive 7 minutes out of your way and then wait in a 10-minute lineup despite my objections to drop 16 greenbacks on a cup of Joe and sliced banana bread.
And it's not just coffee choices they're plagued with. The other day, me and Gail were having a quick dinner, decide to have an alcoholic beverage or two. I tell them, I'll grab whatever lager they got on tap.
Luxury men have.
And then I just have to watch as this woman's genetic code takes over her body as she demands to look at the cocktail menu and continues to order multiple drinks starting at $14.99 with names I hope to never see again.
That'll cost you.
Naturally, I give her a look of disgust, but really I'm disgusted at nature for cursing them with the inability to drink a reasonably priced beverage. You know, I've been saying this forever.
that determinism, man, causes you to drink expensive coffee. Christopher, you think that might not have been a manifesto? I think it seemed like it got confirmed by the police officers.
It did seem like they were saying, what was it? They said, we need to find out who sent this. Okay, so I sent you the video again. It looks like you can actually pull it up this time.
So just to give you a little sense of my feelings about this as a therapist with a lot of advanced training in addictions.
Ooh, training to what?
As someone who is addicted to something. The nature of God is not to be offended. When we say that we offend God, we are creating God in the image of us. Because we are wounded, because life hurts, we sometimes get offended. We sure do. And that's part of our learning and growing process. Our creators only know one way to be. They are love. They don't even know how to be offended. They don't have an ego that gets wounded. They don't get their feelings hurt. They just love us, embody love, emanate love, and they only want what is best for us. What this paragraph that Nelson is saying is completely and utterly unkind, ungenerous, misunderstanding, judgmental. So just to give you a little sense of my feelings about this as a therapist with a lot of advanced training in addictions.
At the end of it, it's replaying now, right? Oh.
It's great because she has the credentialism that allows her to interpret God. She's not as.
I got one of those PhDs because I wrote it in my name.
I'm a PhD in God.
Yeah.
I also love the. I love the like little. What are they? The shibboleths that you can hear from progressive Mormons, because she's like apparently she calls herself an active Mormon. But like when she says something like "our creators are really," she's clearly like doing that thing where progressive Mormons are like, "I'm talking about Heavenly Father and Heavenly Mother." And it's like you seem to think that the Mormon Church is wrong about even more things than I think that they're wrong about, and I left them, man.
It drives me so nuts.
Why are you still there?
The way they're trying to reinvent it, like some of it feels like they're trying to save the pig, like Homer chasing the pig. Like it's still good, it's still good, it's still good. But the other part of it just feels like I don't know, something like just leave it, man. Just leave it be, leave it alone, man.
Well, it all just feels dishonest.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel to me like I don't know. They never feel to me like they're trying to save the pig. To me, they feel like I don't know. They're just trying to pretend that they're sincere, and you can't convince me that Dan McClellan is sincere in his.
Going back to Mitt Romney once again too, like that Mitt Romney's whole book. But he convinced Zelf on the Shelf he's sincere, and they're all for it now. Like that. Just
well, if you say like you're a lot more likely to convince me that you're sincere if you're saying things that I like, obviously, and like you got to be careful, like, just believing people like. Pearl, the first couple times I saw her, she was saying some reasonable things about the dating world. And then I saw the rest of what she said, and I'm like, oh, she's a fucking idiot. She's a grifter and a liar. But
it's someone who doesn't suck right now. Everybody sucked.
I don't know. I think Bill Maher is pretty nuts on Trump, but I don't think he sucks for the most part.
Yeah, it feels like even if he still holds on his Russia collusion stuff, it's out of real delusion. It's not out of cynicism. It's not out of Machiavellian cynicism.
Oh yeah, I don't think
he's
insincere about that. But as far as people that don't suck, shit, I don't know, man.
I think honestly, Brett and Eric Weinstein had a pretty good talk on trigonometry this week.
Yeah, I think. Eric Weinstein and Heather Heying are always pretty.
Yeah, I love them.
They're good to watch.
Who else doesn't suck out there? Anybody have a list of anybody who doesn't suck? And the idea that you would so naively presume to lecture me, a biblical scholar, on any issue about which you have clearly dedicated little to no critical thought or research is ludicrous. Just so you know.
Jesus Christ. Have I mentioned that I'm a biblical scholar?
I genuinely think that there's nobody who points at their credentials in any media anywhere as much as he does. I don't think he holds that record.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh,
I can't think of anyone.
Yeah. What are you saying?
Oh, I said I can't think of anybody because that was one of the first things we notice about him is how goddamn often and it's always a different type of scholar. It's always whatever's relevant at the moment. Like if you're talking about the Bible, then he's like, as a biblical scholar. If you're talking about like the definition of a word, as a linguist. If you're talking about, I don't know, he's an expert in all things.
Yeah.
Until
language says all the words in the world. So if the language said it and you're a linguist, that means you can be an expert in the thing that the linguist.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's broad.
I think it's dubious that he's like a linguistics expert. He's a divinity school guy, and some of his PhD paper was about linguistics. That doesn't make you a linguistics PhD.
Sure. Well, it's definitely he has like a broad amount of expertise that he will always apply to himself. But if it gets outside that, like things like climate science or things like vaccine science, then he will definitely he doesn't claim those expertise. He just it's like Rey at the end of that last terrible movie where she's like, I'm all the Jedi. Dan's standing there with two lightsabers. I'm all the experts. He channels the spirits of all the experts and said that you are completely and utterly going against what is a broad scholarly consensus and has been, by the way, for decades.
Yeah. So did you want to have Kara teach you about Zionism?
I want to kill myself. Go for it.
Just the start of a series, man. She's going to tell us all about the Zionism. It's bad. Mormons are bad for doing the Zionism bad, and
Zionism bad.
This particular rant here at the bottom, rise of hate crimes. I mean, I felt this was particularly word salady. I liked it.
And also, just want to put that out there is I completely
Too fast. Come on, go gadget word
understand
salad.
how much this conflict, as it has risen right now, that there are stupid, bigoted people out there in the world who attribute so many sweeping, who attribute certain things to certain groups and have very small-minded thinking. And there's been a rise in, hate crimes from anti-Semitism and attacks, and also people who are Islamophobic. And I've heard lots of stories and lots of videos of people, in both types of camps, feeling really unsafe right now. And that's just, again, what I would say is another unfortunate fallout of not just, religious differences are one thing. So many countries, people can live in peace with these religious divides. But when you're at war now with each other, my beliefs when I talk about Mormonism are very much rooted in all of the same things. I can't describe it. It's just about power and dynamics. And when there's misunderstandings, and when
Is
you
she
can
fucking
use
saying
indoctrination
anything at
to
all?
breed a type of bigotry that will
What
be
the
able to
fuck
carry
are you
out.
trying to say?
Some people, they contain a small percentage of the wealth. You could call them the 1%.
You know those cuckoo birds? Curtis Yarvin had a good Substack this week, and he says, "You guys are cuckoo birds, the ones who get tricked into nesting the wrong eggs." He says, "But don't try to make a nest of the entire world. You're cuckoo birds for the entire planet. You made a nest of the planet itself."
She just
Everyone
no, but she didn't
listening?
say anything. I'm trying to figure it out.
He's like, okay, Bernie Sanders. All I'm saying is that there have always existed powers that be that can use the bigotry in different societies and utilize that for their economic benefit. It's just taking the mask off and sometimes really seeing what the story is about instead of the surface level of kind of what our standing is about, because there are powers that be that don't want us to think bigger about who are the puppet masters who are controlling the situation. And this is the time in which there's so much bloodshed. There's so many children and screaming families buried in rubble, and people being gunned down in the streets, taken from their beds on both sides. The most horrible atrocities that are happening. And to
I feel like I'm watching a Miss Utah pageant.
I know this.
They got asked one of the questions.
God damn it! She's not saying anything. Am I crazy? Am I stupid? I feel like I'm crazy because there's no way somebody could talk.
You need to be a
that
biblical
long
scholar
and not actually say anything. So it must be that I'm too stupid.
Did you study linguistics in divinity PhD program?
It's like, I think that everyone can use weaponized bigotry and stuff like that. And my beliefs also were rooted in, the same kind of power and structure and institutionalizedism. Those aren't fucking words.
All right.
I'm having a moment.
We need a story that is full of substance to fill our brains. What is Bill channel again?
Story Seeds for Kids.
Yeah, we're gonna get some
guess what? Guess what? The 4, it's the number 4. And I'm pretty sure kids has a Z.
So what's the most recent one? The parable of the farmer and the seeds?
Yeah, but do the one before that.
Wait, that one's 5 years old. 8 days ago.
5 years old. There's no.
That's the wrong thing. Which one? Rainbow of Friendship?
Yeah, that one's the best. I mean, it's not as good as the Magic Mushroom one, but we've already watched that one. That's where he tells kids to do drugs.
Well, this will be like a good palate cleanser.
Yeah, this one is try if you can. If you're really, really witty, you might be able to decipher what the moral of this story is.
Yeah, I'm so
hello.
Wait a minute. Did he lose his hair?
Yeah, he did. He doesn't keep these pictures, I don't think. I think he just generates one picture and then If you look at him, he looks very different in every introduction.
Papa's giving me schizophrenia, Bill Real.
Yeah,
Like,
he's also
I
said,
don't know
"Hey,
what
guess what?
day is real or not."
Did you know he's got some Nana stories that are coming too?
Really?
Yeah, Nana's gonna read
Who's gonna
those
read
stories.
those? Look at this. Wow, you had hair just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, no, it's they're never the same picture because you can't just like AI is not quite advanced enough to where you just say, okay, keep this character model and then tell him to do or at least it probably is, but he hasn't, figured it out that much. You could tell by the
Wow.
Uncanny Valley shit.
Oh, my little friends, it's Papa here. Welcome back to Story Seeds for Kids.
Does he think all
I'm
kids are retarded?
absolutely delighted to welcome you.
He's talking to him like he's talking to
magical
somebody who doesn't
story.
speak English.
Are you ready for a grand adventure filled with
All right, now that we got the
imagination,
speed.
wonder, and excitement?
You gotta go with
Well,
double
you've come
speed,
to the
man.
right place.
Double?
Every time we gather around, I'll have a brand new original story just for you. Stories that take you off to far off lands and introduce you to extraordinary characters and maybe even make you laugh until your tummy tickles. But wait, there's an extra sprinkle of enchantment
What are the
in each
tentacles?
episode. Before we dive into our tale, I have a scavenger hunt for you. Listen closely as I reveal a secret item hidden somewhere in our show. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to keep your ears perked, your wits about you, and your eyes wide open. Today's item we are looking for is a rainbow. When you see the rainbow, keep it in mind. Keep those sharp eyes and ears ready to locate it as our story unfolds. Now, my dear adventurers, are you up for the challenge? I have no doubt that you are.
Man, look at
So
Papa's
gather
boot
around
knuckle.
and get comfy and get ready for the story of the Rainbow of Friendship.
Those
In a pretty
pauses are
village
so weird.
surrounded by hills, there were happy animals who loved playing together. There were rabbits and
This is nightmare
squirrels
fuel.
and birds and a nice old turtle named Tessa. Each animal was different and special in their own unique way, making the village a lively and colorful place. One Sunday morning, all the animals met in the village center for a big party. It was the Friendship Festival, a special time when everyone celebrated being different and being friends.
I
The
wonder
square was
what
decorated
this
with
is.
bright flags, each one a different color, like a rainbow. During the fun,
Like a
the animals
rainbow.
played games and laughed and had yummy treats. Everyone wore a colorful ribbon
More
to show they
picture
were
where you-
all
God,
friends.
these are
The
terrifying.
rabbits hopped.
I need a palate cleanser. Let's do a quick palate cleanser. Go back to Kara and that girl. They have some more to say real quick.
We try to hustle, I'm trying to bust, I'm trying to cut them. And the cops want someone to bust down on Orleans Avenue. Another day, another dollar, another war, another tower went up where the homeless had their home. Rainers, man, different gods as their flowers, but we call religion a friend. So
Wait a minute, I didn't. She
Did you
sounded
understand?
like she even sounded terrible. I don't remember Jessica Simpson sounding terrible.
He was obviously like
I
at the time, but I love the line where the homeless had their home. That's my favorite line in song history.
You could tell she thought it was fucking amazing too.
It was, and they were thinking all deep, and the crowd goes,
I know.
the homeless had their
What the hell is happening? This might be the worst picture that he's ever done. Like, look at that dude to the left. He's like got a. It looks like he's begging you to kill it. No, the thing almost all the way left. That weird scrawny orange thing.
Oh, what the?
Yeah, what is it? Oh
Where-
my god! I'm not even talking about that one, but
That's got all sorts of weird face stuff going on in it. Well, you're talking about this one?
I'm talking about that one. Look, it grows. Something's growing out of its head, and it looks like another head.
Ugh. What do you think
World's
he types
chatted.
into AI to get those? Like animal creatures,
Pixar Pride Parade is what he
rainbow
typed.
colored animal creatures.
The birds sang happily. In the middle of the excitement, a new friend came, a young hedgehog named Hazel, who had just moved into the town. Hazel had never been to the village or the festival before, and she felt a little nervous. She looked around and saw how everyone seemed to know each other so well. Her prickles stood up as she wondered if she would fit in. Tessa, the wise old turtle, noticed Hazel standing by herself.
Where is the turtle?
Tessa had seen many friendship festivals
that rock.
and knew how important it was.
Turtle's invisible down in there.
The turtle in the first picture is freaky as hell.
And the candles are on the turtle.
Okay, if you go back to the first turtle picture, I think it comes back, so you'll see it. But it's freaky as hell. It only has two
to
legs.
Make everyone feel welcome.
Then its head is coming out of the top of the shell.
She went over to Hazel and said hello. Hazel smiled back and said her name. My name is Hazel. Tessa shared stories about the village's past and how it had grown to welcome all kinds of animals, no matter how different they were. She pointed to the colorful flags, explained that just like each color was special, every animal brought their own specialness to the village. Feeling better with Tessa's nice words, Hazel started to relax. Tessa introduced Hazel to the other animals, who were happy to have a new friend. The birds taught her their songs. The squirrels showed her how to climb trees, and the rabbits asked her to join in their games. As the day went on, Hazel saw that being inclusive was like a pretty puzzle, where every piece was important. Each animal had things they were good at, and when they all worked together, the village became stronger and livelier. With the help of her new friends,
they went and played field hockey. Hazel lost all her teeth.
Hazel fucking died.
Hazel felt she really belonged.
So, but are you clever enough to figure out what the moral of the story is?
I don't think so.
Okay, so you gotta listen careful, because what he says is one day a hedgehog came to a group and they were nice to her. The moral is be nice. He's so bad.
I was overthinking if there's like some sort of like subtext in there.
Oh, I mean, there's definitely like it's clearly a pride parade. You know, he's just terrible at.
And when the sun started to go down, it made the village square all warm and glowing. The animals stood in a circle, holding hands, paws, and wings. They looked at each other, their differences shining in the soft evening light. They sang a song about friendship, celebrating the wonderful mix they had created together. And that's how the Friendship Festival in the village ended, leaving a lesson in the hearts of everyone there. The rainbow of friendship showed them that welcoming differences made their world more interesting, more bright, and absolutely more beautiful. They learned that by being kind and welcoming and open-hearted, they could make a happy village where everyone felt
right
that they
in line
belonged.
with what Kara was saying about Palestine and Israel.
Welcome back, my little friends.
I think
Wasn't that a great story? Before we say our
Kara,
farewells, let's unravel the mystery together. Did you manage to find the rainbow during our adventure?
I can't really hear you over the thing.
Did you find it?
I'm saying, Kara, like this goes right in line with like what Kara was teaching us. The bigotry and the people and the sometimes bad people do the bad things to the people, and there's bigotry in the world, and it's for the systems and the systemics. And I don't know. Did you pick up any of that?
What I picked up is that Bill Reel is going to cringe me back into the Mormon church.
Truly remarkable detectives, and I'm so proud of each and every one of you for using your eyes and your ears to pay attention to the story.
What's up with his weird
tried to spot the rainbow. Didn't find it this time? No big deal. Listen to the story again and try again, or watch another episode and find a different thingamajiggy. I hope you had a fantastic time solving the mystery and delving into our.
Oh man.
Oh, Bill.
So what happened?
Oh, my little friend.
The second one, the little seed's big dream. What's his big dream?
This one, I mean, the moral's not as bad. It's just work hard and persevere.
Papa's lost some weight. I think Papa's got a drug problem, man. I think fentanyl, like they got.
He keeps losing his hair and shit.
Like now he's lost.
Welcome back to Story Seeds for Kids. I'm absolutely delighted to welcome you to another magical story. Are you ready for a grand adventure filled with imagination, wonder, and excitement? Well, you've come to the right place. Every
Did it freeze?
time we gather around, I'll have a brand new original story just for you. Stories that take you off to far-off lands and introduce you to extraordinary characters and maybe even make you laugh until your tummy tickles. But wait, there's an extra sprinkle of enchantment in each episode. Before we dive into our tale,
quit saying that.
I have a scavenger hunt for you. Listen closely as I reveal a secret item hidden somewhere in our show. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to keep your ears perked, your wits about you, and your eyes wide open. Today's item is a sunflower. When you see the sunflower, keep it in mind. Remember what scene it was in. Keep those eyes sharp and ears ready as our story unfolds. And now, to our story, The Little Seed's Big Dream. In a quiet corner of a bustling garden, there lived a small, determined seed named Sammy. Sammy
That
was unlike
thing
the
is
vibrant flowers and
terrifying.
towering trees around him.
They all look
just
like butt
a tiny
plugs.
seed, dreaming of growing into a beautiful plant one day. As the sun's rays bathed the garden in warmth and the
He looks
birds
like
sang
he
their
just
melodies,
finished saying, "Choke
things
me,
long and
daddy."
days. With a kind smile, she said, "Patience and perseverance." In stormy night, as the wind felt something he had never felt before.
Flower.
Tessa, who had been watching all along, smiled warmly.
Into a flower?
"Congratulations, Sammy! Your patience and perseverance have paid off." Sammy beamed with pride. Sammy and his friends discovered that dreams take time to create story. Before we say our farewells, let's unravel the mystery together. Did you happen to find the item during our adventure? It was where?
I guess that story's about growing into a great big flower.
Working, and it takes time. Yeah, Sammy the Seed is terrifying. He looks like he's begging to gag on your cock. and I wanted to do more voices. That was my favorite part of this whole Bill Reel adventure. He sounds like he's doing like a Mr. Hank. He's like, "I'm Hazel. Hello."
Yeah, we need to make like an intro song and put Hazel in it. And then from there, back to this.
Tower went up where the homeless had their home.
Yeah, Hazel, where the home. I'm Hazel, where the homeless had their home.
These people have such a fundamental misunderstanding of homeless people. It's just as funny as listening to that Antifa dipshit misunderstand Islam. Because they're always like, how can we have like 600,000 homes and only 5,000 homeless people? Let's just give them homes. Like, yeah, that'd turn out well. That'd turn out actually great. And they'll probably pay for all the utilities too. They'll probably maintain those houses. They definitely won't turn into crack dens.
I don't think that you're a proper socialist.
Hello, children. Don't forget to be gay and do drugs. I'm Hazel.
Well, they say Sesame Street is going to be turned into, it's getting reimagined.
Oh, modern audiences. I don't know. They've always been for modern audiences, though.
Well, now it'll be reimagined into something better.
I know. What? Like they're doing like a.
They're gonna make them like half-hour long shows. No more little segments. No more little things.
Is that okay? I guess I don't.
Yeah. Well, have you seen like on TikTok and all that stuff all over? I'm getting all sorts. This is another reason why we're going to war. Like they put all sorts of sexy women in their war propaganda videos, doing the army stuff. It's everywhere for real.
I got a pair of Louboutins. I wore them for the first time last night. They told me to use a protectant on the red sole so that it
This
didn't
is
get fucked
army
up, but I
now.
fucked it up already. Those were $800. And I got this off-white coat. I got it because it's camo and it might be a little comfort for Israel.
They
$1,000.
are putting sex and women on TikTok.
It was $900.
Going to war. No.
And then I got a
What
bathing
the fuck is happening?
Don't know if I'll ever wear it.
We're right. We're in hell, man.
Join the military, shoot guns, and fuck bitches. We don't have any more fat black dykes. It's all hot chicks.
Sorry about that. That was just kidding, man.
We went through a wild phase there for a while.
Oh, I don't know what else to pull up.
The military feels like Apple. You know, whenever Apple like reintroduces something that was on phones a long time ago and acts like it's a new thing, they're like,
yeah,
now you can have a headphone jack, and now you can put a micro SD card in. And like,
Well,
yeah, I
did
can
you
do that
hear
on my
about
flip phone. It feels like that's the same thing that the military is doing. It's like, now we have physical fitness standards.
Oh, dude. Like, so there's a TikTok trend that's called, I forget exactly what they call it, but it's called, you're supposed to put away all social media in your phones and walk outside.
Oh, what is it? Quiet walking or quiet
Quiet
thinking
walking or something like that.
like that woman's like, I can't believe I started this trend.
They reinvented going for a walk. Yeah.
Yeah, holy shit. That was one of the
And
funniest.
I just saw yesterday on Twitter, like there's this truck coming out. Toyota's putting out a truck, and it's only gonna be like $10,000, and I want it. And why is it only $10,000? Because it just doesn't have any of the computer shit in it.
Wait, are you serious?
It's a new invention. It's just back to like locked doors and.
Dude, I've been begging for this.
Yeah.
I keep telling everybody I want to, like, if I had the money and ambition, I would just create like a car industry that basically just that like recreates 90s like Toyota Camrys or whatever, but brand new, because I would pay $10,000 for a brand new 98 Toyota Camry. I'm not even kidding you.
Basically what they're selling. That's what it is.
That'd be awesome.
Have like any
give me,
computer stuff.
Dude, give me
No
crank
automated
windows.
stuff, no windows, no whatever.
Yeah. That, oh God.
No lane tracking, no whatever the crap and that's what's costing double the price of everything.
Dude, give me a tape deck in there. I'll put in one of those tape deck things that plug into your phone. And then I'll have to get an adapter because my phone doesn't have a fucking headphone jack in it anymore because they thought that was something I wanted to get rid of.
Did you see that Homer detoxified?
Right, yeah, I heard he doesn't strangle Bart anymore. I haven't heard why.
Quite a grip. See, Marge, strangling the boy has paid off. Just kidding. I don't do that anymore. Times have changed. Whoa!
I mean, that's took away Homer's strangling arms.
That's kind of that's a funny joke. But the next scene, he should be strangling Bart.
Yeah, maybe that's just him saying something random. I don't know that.
I don't know. No, it sounds like the creators are actually wanting that direction or wanting to go in that direction. But I don't care, man, because The Simpsons have not been good for a long time. But like the stuff now, you go back and watch season 20, that was terrible. After watching like 5 of the modern episodes, and you'll be like, man, season 20 was brilliant.
Season which one? Oh,
20.
20?
I'm saying, yeah, it got bad before 20, but I'm just saying it's gotten even worse.
Yeah.
Because
oh goodness gracious, man.
I mean, it's gotten so bad. I was actually jarred trying to watch one of the newer episodes the other day. I was like, let's see if it's as bad as they say it is.
Oh yeah, I tried to
It
watch.
is. It absolutely is. It's jarring. Like when you hear Dr. Hibbert, you're like, that's not Dr. Hibbert. And I know the guy didn't die. Like I know that there wasn't a good reason.
No, he was Harry Shearer.
Yeah, it was Harry Shearer, I'm pretty sure, that did his voice. He also did Lou, and I'm pretty sure he did Carl.
So they just hired a whole separate dude to do Dr. Hibbert now?
Yeah, and I think they just got rid of Apu.
No, I heard that he's an Indian person now.
Oh, that's so stupid.
New voice of Dr. Hibbert.
Because the Dr. Hibbert one at least is trying to do an impression of Dr. Hibbert. With Apu,
well, I guess this is him now.
Yep.
I think I know that name though. He's been Kevin Michael Richardson. I know that name, don't
I don't know.
Man, they should just, getting that job just to sit there and voice that one thing is like kind of hitting the lotto, isn't it?
Oh, hell yeah. Well, and they definitely have to pay him more than he's worth so that they don't look at the disparity. Be like, wait a minute. Why does Hank Azaria make so much more money than this black guy?
I guess Apu is just gone.
Yeah. That's what I thought happened. Which is stupid. They're like, that guy threw a bitch fit, and the only real solution was to just get rid of a character everybody liked. Like Apu was a good character, but you can't do him without, because with Dr. Hibbert you can at least do a Dr. Hibbert impersonation. With Apu, the whole issue was his accent, and so you would either have to just totally change his voice to just sound like a normal American person, or nothing. Like, just get rid of him.
Yeah. Well, let's see. These are the high school debate championships. You ready for it?
Christ. Yeah, no, I'm not.
They have a white debater on their team, which inherently means they have more whiteness than us. We obviously know that JJ's not white. It's pretty obvious. Go down onto our pick. We give you 3 words why we subsume all of their protests and affirm their protests. In a pick, what it means is you are furthering their cause just minus the whiteness. As Rebecca is a vehicle for this movement, we say whiteness is really bad for representation and queer people, and it's a bad form of furthering this protest. The best way to further the protest is to vote for our pick and to affirm it, but minus the whiteness. They say that we're taking over JJ's labor, but first, this is a new response. If they read this response before, we probably would have read a CapK about how you can't use labor across identity lines. That's a really bad thing to do. Second, how picks work is you affirm their protest. We're not taking over their labor. It's just a technicality of debate. Then they say that it's trans exclusion. No. A couple responses that they dropped from
Oh my God.
Our constructive speech was about personal experiences, about our identity.
Does it
We're
end?
not comfortable discussing our sexuality on a live stream with 130 people. Second, we say that them telling us how we should represent our advocacy feeds into our link about racism, because a white person, someone on a white team should
Oh
never
my
be
God,
telling
oh my
someone
God, oh my God.
how they should be furthering their advocacy. That's an independent link into our white.
Christ! Oh, that hurts my.
You can
Wait,
drop
no,
that
it's still
right now.
going. I know.
We say we should have read things about the Hall of Shame. It's an identity.
This take notes, Kara. This is how you word salad really fast. She's even like thrown in the intersection of anxiety and thereby fucking hyperventilating while she's speaking. Holy shit! There's a Nicolas Cage movie, I think, where I don't remember the movie. It gets wacky near the end where you find out what
the bee one, where he screams because he's getting stabbed by bees.
No, I think it's Nicolas Cage. I can't remember exactly, but the ending of the movie is like they escape the end of the world, but they realize that there's just the kids that escape. They put a young boy and a young girl in a pod, and they're basically Adam and Eve. And then they go up while the earth gets torched, and then the pod comes back down. And it's where the story of Adam and Eve came from, because this is how humans cycle. They fuck everything up eventually, and they have to restart with a new Adam and Eve. And I was like, I think maybe we need to do that.
Yeah. I know that since a long time ago, it was one of my big falling off moments was hearing the whole Radiolab years ago about the bullcrap thing where that guy won the national collegiates debate thing by doing basically the same thing, just calling debate racist. Yeah, at some level, it kind of feels a little bit like that universe crutch that they use in the Marvel movies, which is falling apart now. But all these debate people doing this meta commentary on debate and it being racist is like the games, it's played out. I guess the high schooler can use it now still, but this stuff was done 5, 6, 7 years ago. No, you can't go out and meta call it all racist again. But temptation's just always there. And then they said that the other team just had to resign there on the spot because they couldn't counter it back because they were white. That's really what happened there.
They should have just said racial slurs. Then I would have made like a Chad meme about them. It's like that. Yeah, it's the fucking. It's the Dr. Manhattan thing. Do you have a source? Like, the source is I saw it in a vision. Giga Chad.
All right, let's listen to this. Things aren't looking so good for me.
So let's jump straight into it then. Why don't women like gym cells? Why is every in shape guy being priced out of the dating market apparently?
So gym cells, sure. So I put some pictures, a meme on Twitter, and I said, "Women, would you like this body type?" And of course, this is a fitness model. He's kind of jacked, and you get a lot of feedback that say, "No, I don't like that." And so they want kind of, or at least they say, right, a stated preference. They would prefer a guy with a dad bod, someone who's a little fluffier, perhaps more comfortable. And there may be different reasons for that. One of the kind of
the reason is that women lie about that.
Was, okay,
that's the only reason.
And you figure this is why you can't watch Real stuff, is you figure it out too fast. You figure out the punchline too quick.
Oh, I know. I
this
watched.
Guy's taking it on face.
No, yeah, he knows. He knows. Yeah. He's just trying to be. He's trying to play the game like everybody else is. But I had this discussion with Morgan the other night about. I mean, I've told her before, like that whole thing. The Noah guy was talking about how, oh, look at this. This survey says that women their number one thing they look for in guys is being nice. And like, yeah, they're fucking lying. I don't.
Yeah, they don't.
You know that they're lying.
They're not
You'd
good
have to be
judges of
stupid to
their
not
own
know that.
loins.
And the whole dad bod thing, that's retarded. No woman prefers a dad bod to a six pack. And I say this as somebody who's probably slightly chubbier than a dad bod.
I don't know what to call dad bods or not, but I don't. It does seem like the dating world is pretty bleak out there for sure.
Oh, did they have to make it ugly?
It is goofy looking. I think that's a requirement because if you don't do that, you'll get sued the pants off you. No screens, no radio. It doesn't even have a tachometer. It doesn't have many switches on the interior, but in this case, it's because there's almost nothing to turn on or off. Forget LED headlights, power windows, and door locks, or standard adaptive cruise control. Toyota's $10,000 future pickup truck. Basic.
Yeah, I don't care if it's ugly. I want it.
Me too.
Because I want this to be successful and I want it to be a trend that picks up.
I want less stuff. And if it's, you think that'd have 4-wheel drive? Probably not.
No, doesn't look like it. I mean, I don't know shit about cars, but
so I need the winter starting again. The winter commute. I shouldn't say that loud. Knock on wood.
You gotta.
This is a good video. I'm not gonna play a ton right here, but the saga of.
We're going to talk about everybody's favorite topic, and that is, of course, the Israel-Palestine conflict.
I wish he did more videos.
There has been heavy conflict, heavy fighting for about 26 days straight now, give or take, ever since Hamas infiltrated and attacked Israel on October 7th. And I know it's at times like these, you turn to me to make sense of the world for you. Oh, LP, what is going on? Who am I supposed to support? Help me understand. Well, I got your back. I'm here to tell you all about it. However, given that it is such a broad conflict, I thought I would narrow the scope of this video to a more specific aspect of the conflict, one that I think is very important and tragic. You know, there's a lot of tragic things happening, but arguably none so tragic as the ending.
Man, Kwaku and the Midnight Mormons worked it out. They can work
former
together.
co-host of the now defunct podcast Leftovers. Many people from the very start predicted that this outcome was inevitable. In fact, Ethan even joked about it the first episode they did together after the conflict began.
Is that I've seen a lot of people expecting us to come froth and argue and our friendship is going to end and the show is going to end or something like that. And I'm sorry to disappoint you guys, but that's definitely not what we're planning on doing here. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, solve the conflict in its entirety. Let's go.
It totally happened. Not only did it happen, like it gets salty. Like it gets, and it's going to only get saltier. It's like a full break, and we're only a month into it. But
yeah, that's just
hot and inconsiderate is terrible to live with. Yeah,
it was smart at first for Ethan to do the Leftovers podcast because that's the only time Ethan can ever look like a fucking galaxy brain is when he's next to Hassan Piker. He looks like a genius when he's talking to Hassan. He's not. He's a midwit, but man, that sure turned out pretty bad. It actually made me feel bad for Ethan because he's like,
yeah. If you want the whole saga, go to iHypocrites channel right there. I'll put it in the.
Yeah, he actually seemed pretty sincere for the most part.
Yeah, it gets bad, and I bet you they're only getting worse. They're gonna start like kind of sabotaging each other and all that sorts of stuff. But
I mean, it's the most I've paid attention to Ethan in a while. So
look at this. I like how he left your wife's comment up of "Don't forget to be gay and do drugs" for quite a while now.
Yeah, you left it up there for.
I should just leave that up like every single time. Don't forget to be gay and do drugs. Put a chicken in it, make it lame.
Oh, I finished Spider-Man.
How was that? Did you convert to progressivism or something?
Oh yeah. Now they basically explicitly stated that they want Miles Morales to be the main character in the next game, and
I've heard that.
Yeah. Well, it's because the game ends with Peter Parker being like, "Man, I really want to break from this Spider-Man stuff," and Miles is like, "I got it, buddy. I got it."
But people like Miles Morales, right? Oh, I thought one of those games was like a DLC of like only Miles or something.
It is. It wasn't good. Like it was fun because the gameplay is fun, but the story was terrible.
The first
villain, the first one is awesome. It has a great
Always true.
story, and Miles Morales was in it. But then there was another game just called Spider-Man Miles Morales, and it was him as the main character. It was more of a spin-off, and it was a shorter game. The gameplay was still fun, but the story itself was just so fucking stupid. There's a couple of things that Miles Morales has going for him, like the Prowler is actually a pretty good villain. The tragic backstory of his dad is a good story. But the problem is, like, all of these villains that they're setting up, and Demian's got a pretty good video on it, where he goes through all of the villains that they're setting up for the next thing, and Miles just has no connection to them at all. So it doesn't make any sense, like no emotional connection. And that's Peter Parker has all of these emotional connections to these villains.
What Miles Morales had his uncle in the movie. Does he have more than that?
No, he doesn't. That's I don't. Mostly, part of the reason it's so weird is because Miles Morales and Peter Parker were not Spider-Man at the same time, right? It's like either in a different universe or it's Peter Parker died and Miles Morales becomes Spider-Man. So this one's weird because they're Spider-Man at the same time. It's like a Batman and Robin type thing, but they're both just Spider-Man, and it sounds really dumb when you look at Spider-Man and they're both in the fight, and the other one gets hit and he goes, "Oh no, Spider-Man!" You're like, what? That's just have a different name.
Yeah. Did you see the Winnie the Pooh horror flick?
No, I haven't.
I wonder if they're gonna do the same thing with Mickey Mouse as soon as Mickey Mouse is in the public domain.
I don't think Mickey Mouse is ever going to be in the public domain.
2024. They're saying
that's when it's up, but I think they'll get out of it.
They're saying that Matt and Trey are trying to gear up to try to do something with it. And, put pressure on there.
Oh man, that'd be funny, but I hope it happens. But
I have not seen the horror flick. My family and even my little nieces went and saw the Friday Night at Freddy's one. You want to know what I watched this week and I don't recommend? Holy crap. I watched Terrifier and Terrifier 2. Those are the most gory things I've ever seen. I actually didn't even finish Terrifier 2. It's so gory. I can't
really
how gory it is.
I watched Saw 10.
Watch Terrifier 2 and tell me.
No, we did watch. So we did watch Five Nights at Freddy's, and it's just not very good. I don't know.
I heard the Winnie the Pooh one doesn't look great, but
so Five Nights at Freddy's did well though. Like it smashed records for a horror flick, and part of that is the fan following of that game is just fucking autistic. Like all the theories behind it, you can just find hundreds of hours worth of fan theories and dissection of the lore, and they were fun games too, and they were creepy and mysterious. That I thought the movie was. Josh Hutcherson is actually a pretty good actor. He did a good job, but the movie was just dumb. I don't know. No.
Watch those Terrifiers and tell me what you think.
Terrifiers. Okay, I will.
Your wife says they might just be saying because they want to be fat themselves and don't want to be judged. Yeah, I'd like to get fat again. It's coming on winter time. I want to get fat. You want someone who's considerate. I mean, I actually think there's like some truth. I actually don't think it's a zero. Like, I do think that there's something to the fact that some women will be kind of like, oh, he's a little too in shape. It's signs of he's overly into himself, or that takes a lot of time, or he's narcissistic, or he's going to be boring. Or something.
Sure, but I'm saying somebody who looks like he could run a 5K.
Oh yeah,
I think athletic versus somebody with a gut.
I think if you get too in shape,
and as far as considerate goes, like, so a man can probably win a woman over from a couple things. Like if he's ugly, he can either be like confident, or he can be successful, or he can be funny. Those are his options. The woman like won't. With a man, the problem is niceness is definitely being considerate is important, but if he thinks you're unattractive, it doesn't matter how considerate you are. He's not going for you. It's that you have to be attracted to a woman first.
Yeah. Never date a 9 or 10. Nothing beats the old Spider-Man 2 game. I've been playing
No,
Skyrim.
Spider-Man 2, the
The,
Tobey
like,
Maguire movie.
way PS2 stuff. way
PS2.
forever.
It's serious. She's right. It's the
It was
best
good?
Spider-Man game. It
worked. Those mechanics worked all the way back then.
No, the swinging mechanics. It's not just that they hold up; it's that they're better. They're absolutely better.
That far back?
Yeah, and part of it is because like this one, they want to make it look so realistic that like he turns as quickly as a real person would turn. Whereas like in the other one, if you're coming down from a swing, he can just immediately like turn. So it still looks like a janky PS2 game, but it feels like it has a higher learning curve. It doesn't hold your hand or anything like that. It's fun as hell.
Charles Wagner says he finished getting the Spider-Man 2 Platinum and then moved on to Alan Wake 2. What's Alan Wake?
I don't know. I heard that one was
pretty woke.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Morgan certainly enjoyed Spidey. Amazing Friends with kids.
That's just a stupid Spider-Man movie or Spider-Man show that our kids like.
Good.
Well, we make fun of it.
Problem
We
is
watch
you're-
it.
I'm short. I'm not. I mean, I'm.
Well, his next comment
Most
explains
women
it.
want 6'6". Oh,
Yeah,
no.
that's why you're short.
I don't actually have typically problems with women. It just seems more that there's even distance to even talk to each other in the world nowadays. Like you can't even approach her. And everyone's got headphones, and you'd have to like trip somebody and rip their headphones off to talk to them.
You definitely don't have a problem with men.
There's an unfortunate truth to that. I remember seeing this stand-up comedian years ago, kind of like ripping on, "You guys don't get hit on the gym, shut up," and all that sort of stuff. I'm like, yes, I do. Yes, I've gotten hit on by dudes in the gym quite a bit, and it was worse. The worst place I ever got hit on the most by guys in the gym was downtown Salt Lake at the church's gateway, not the gateway, the other one. They have that new building place, where everybody's upset that they cut the ribbon and all that sorts of deal. What is that? The mall?
City Creek Mall.
City Creek. I worked out at the City Creek gym, and it is the gayest place in Salt Lake. So people can.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'd go in and I'd lift, and I'd dead seriously, because like there'd be like big showers in there and all that stuff, and you'd go into the big showers, and there'd be guys definitely not making it. They're definitely making it obvious. Like they were staring at you and they thought that you were there too for some sort of a fun. It got to a point like I almost went and like complained to the management, but I didn't want to see homophobic.
Suck the dick, homophobe.
Yeah, but now lately I've still gotten hit, like in the past like 3-4 years, like 3-4 times, and but I tend to notice it's when I get leaner, and then if I match my colors too well. So just don't match your colors. Like make sure your colors don't match up. I really do think I've like done the patterns. Like if I make my colors match up too well, I'm risking getting hit on by a gay guy in the modern day. So
Are you
that's what I like
stylish?
that for. He got some free food from a guy from a restaurant the other day, and it was a bit awkward, but I'll take it. You think it was because I went to gyms forever when I was like a young teenager and all that sorts of stuff, and I was very in shape back then and all that. In the world of the 1990s or whatever, never. I never even got the hint of any sort of any of that. Maybe if I like worked out in Los Angeles or something like that, but it's definitely like there in the world now. It's a new world, man. But anyway, so I have no problems in my love life if I can just like learn. I mean, I think I can. Nowadays, all the LGBT people say that you can think your way into it, right? So maybe I can do some conversion therapy, because I can get some luck that way, and everything's resolved from there, right? That's all you gotta do.
You could pray the gay not away, I guess. Like you can
pray the gay
my way.
Pray the gay my way. There you go. Yeah. Oh, anyway.
Follow Beavis's or you follow Butthead's advice. Dude, I don't know. Maybe
Imagine
if we just
dressing
like
badly
close
on
our eyes
purpose to
and
keep the
pretend
gays
it's
away.
okay.
I do that. Yeah, that's real. I mismatched my color scheme on purpose because I think because yeah, I really do. I don't know that's like horribly terribly off, but like if it's like blue, 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 that it's like signaling something. It's like what they used to do, putting handkerchiefs in the pocket of saying, "Hey, I'm for sure gay," but I don't know. But lately, because when I was at the City Creek in downtown at the Mormon-owned gym, um, they were inappropriate. They were in the bathroom. They were, I was going to come, but the guys the past few years, it was all perfectly polite and out in the world. And
Yeah.
Morgan's gonna pray for me to become gay. Well, I don't need the prayers when I got stories from Bill and you barking at it, like saying, "What was the be gay, do drugs and be gay," and we're well on our way. Like we can get this sorted out. I mean.
Flip or Bill Reel will convince you to be gay.
Yeah, there's like 3 more like little. I'm getting groomed right now. I wish I could like get Tim Ballard like level groomed
Yeah,
into it, but
I love this current day grooming thing because I'm actually completely not responsible for anything that happens to me anymore because I was
you
groomed
just end up
into that.
falling into the sexual situation. I mean, it's just the same thing as like the coffees. Like your body makes you have to have those overpriced coffee, and now look, your wife's even. She's thank God for Bill Real because like we can all like use that to justify, say la vie. That's the world. We're all determined to have happen what happens, and she usually prays for Bill Real anyway. Yeah,
Praise to Bill Reel.
praise to Bill Real. I
Yeah.
pray for him, and I pray for a new story every single week.
I do.
Well, Kara's going to be teaching us about Palestine and Zionism. We got that to look forward to. And then I actually want to start talking. I was talking about doing some more like 10-minute videos and stuff, but I actually kind of want to get more into managerial Mormonism and making kind of some videos off of that. The Midnight Mormons tonight, they were just discussing about people who argue if Joseph really did commit polygamy or not. And it's kind of wild to me. And they're saying that it's like getting to like a level that people are arguing hours and hours, 5 hours long on both sides of it. And they're going to get into big debates of it and all that sort of stuff.
It's so insane to me that people try to make that argument.
Yeah, I can't believe it's like back on the table of being something even like worth the time. And now they're going to devote a lot of time to it. And what you can do. But did you see any of the stuff with M. Russell Ballard supposedly giving rich people's tithing info away? And
I know.
You didn't see that? Like that was part of the most recent lawsuits, saying that M. Russell Ballard would tell Tim Ballard where to find the richest people in the world. And that's what I'm saying is like, I mean, we're kind of making fun of these reviewer people or the people in the middle, but at the same time too, there's still dipshittery abound. By the Tim Ballard thing, I think is as scuzzy as it ever seemed. And I think it just comes out to be scuzzier and scuzzier. And even to a point, talking with another guy, like you start wondering, like, was anything positive even going on at all in there? Or was it all just some big, like, because for a while, I mean, I thought for sure there's still something positive going on in there. But the more you hear about how nuts Tim Ballard was with the women and stuff, you kind of start going, was it all just a big whatever?
Well, I probably better head out. I gotta wake
Call
up.
in the morning. Yeah,
4:30.
we're just getting it in because we weren't doing it tomorrow. Jared's got to be up in the morning. We'll be back. I think Flip's back next week. I have a gig tomorrow. If anybody wants to go to the DLC downtown Salt Lake, that's why we jumped on a night early. But Jared's got to be up early, and I used to listen to Turd Flinging Monkey all the time. Yeah. He got booted off of YouTube for a while. and then he came back after.
I think I've listened to him.
But anyway, and it's time for me to walk the Charlie dog too. So thanks for chilling and hanging out, and we busted this one out.
Wait,
And,
in honor of the Neil deGrasse Tyson thing, I'll send you this. It's
just
just
sending us off. Is it going to be Big Booty Hose again?
No, it's not. It's just a meme that
I don't trust you, even if you say no. I don't trust you. Big Booty Hose.
It's a meme that Morgan sent me.
Let's see here. Present. Share screen. Dude, what's your favorite thing about being a guy? This is the right one?
Yeah.
Being able to join women's sports and kick their ass in the that's funny. She sent something. Was that for the podcast to you?
What's that?
She sent the same one. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet. That's funny. Yep. Or don't go looking for the video if you don't want to be grossed out, or taking a woman's whole teeth out sort of deal.
Oh, I'm gonna watch the shit out of it.
I'm sitting off this. Did you watch this? You got to watch this. I'm not gonna put it on here. I'll just put it in the things. But the Norm Macdonald kind of making fun of Matthew Perry.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's when the first time when I heard he died, it was like, oh, rest in peace, inventor of sarcasm.
Oh, you were riffing on what Norm said.
Yeah, that was like, it's funny because when I've heard a few people tell this story and they're like, yeah, everybody's trying to like be nice when the guy's talking about, he wants to go in there and do Matt speak. It's this speech pattern he invented where he says things that he doesn't really mean, but they're a little over exaggerated. And Norm Macdonald was finally one like, is he talking about sarcasm?
Sarcasm?
This guy think he invented sarcasm?
And then one of the funniest lines of the whole thing is he said a bunch of different people would come up to him and say, you think Matthew Perry is kind of a genius, isn't he? And he goes, what, is he good at math or something? Anyway, I'll just put that one in the thing and we'll call it good. So thanks for chilling, everybody. Have a good one.
See you later.
And have a good night. Thanks for jumping on daily.
Mm-hmm.
All righty.